Alex Thompson, the CEO of a booming tech company, leaned back in his leather office chair as the text message from Chris Evans, an old high school friend, lit up his phone screen. "You owe me, Alex. Remember senior year physics?" Chris's tone felt playful, but the words carried an underlying weight. Alex sighed, spinning his chair to face the sprawling skyline of New York City outside his window. Chris, now a high school vice principal, wasn't one to casually call in favors. Curious, Alex tapped the voice button to reply. What do you need this time, Chris?" Chris's voice crackled through the phone. "I need you to invite someone to our 10-year reunion, Emma Lee." Alex frowned, the name faintly ringing a bell. "Emma? Oh, you mean the girl from chemistry class, the one—" "Yes," Chris interrupted, his voice sharper now. "The one everyone picked on, including me." Alex leaned forward, his interest piqued. "And you think she'll want to come? Why not invite her yourself? She'd never say yes to me. But you might stand a chance. You're successful, you're Alex Thompson," Chris explained. "If anyone can convince her, it's you." Alex hesitated, the weight of old memories pressing down on him. High school felt like another lifetime ago, but the faint image of Emma's timid figure, hunched over her books while whispers and snickers echoed around her, resurfaced. He wasn't proud of the indifference he'd shown back then, standing by while others mocked her. "Why are you so invested in this?" he finally asked. Chris sighed on the other end of the line. "Because I'm trying to fix things. Emma deserves to see how far she's come, and to know she's not the same girl from high school anymore. Just think about it." As the call ended, Alex pulled up his laptop and typed Emma Lee into the search bar. The results stunned him. Dr. Emma Lee was now a renowned pediatric reconstructive surgeon working at a top hospital in Boston. Photos of her in a white coat appeared on screen, her expression calm but determined. Alex sat back, feeling a strange mix of admiration and guilt. He opened his email and began typing. "Dear Dr. Lee, you may not remember me from Westbridge High, but I'm reaching out." He stopped, deleted the line, and tried again. Writing to her felt harder than he expected. How do you apologize for something you didn't do but should have? After several attempts, Alex settled on something more personal. "Hi, Emma. This is Alex Thompson from Westbridge High, class of 2010. Our 10-year reunion is coming up, and I wanted to personally invite you to attend as my guest. I understand if this feels out of the blue, but I'd love the chance to reconnect and hear your story. Let me know if you'd be interested. Best, Alex." He hit send before he could second-guess himself. As the email disappeared into cyberspace, Alex leaned back, wondering if he'd just opened the door to something far bigger than a simple high school reunion. Emma Lee sat in her small office at Boston Children's Hospital, poring over patient files. The familiar ping of a new email broke her concentration. Glancing at the screen, her eyes narrowed at the name in her inbox. Alex Thompson. "Alex Thompson?" she muttered, her mind flashing back to Westbridge High, a place where every day felt like a battle for survival. Back in high school, Emma had been the shy girl with thick glasses and braces. Whispers and cruel nicknames like Ugly Duckling trailed her in every hallway. She still remembered the sting of Chris Evans leading a chant during lunch, the way her face burned as she pretended not to hear. Chris Evans and his group had been at the forefront of the taunts, and while Alex Thompson hadn't actively participated, his silence had been just as loud. We were just kids, Emma thought, trying to push away the painful memories. But the chants of Ugly Duckling and the pitying glances from classmates lingered, sharp as ever. Emma clicked on the email and began to read. "Hi, Emma. This is Alex Thompson from Westbridge High, class of 2010. Our 10-year reunion is coming up, and I wanted to personally invite you to attend as my guest. I understand if this feels out of the blue, but I'd love the chance to reconnect and hear your story. Let me know if you'd be interested. Best, Alex." She read it twice, then a third time, trying to decipher his true intentions. Why now? Was this some kind of joke? Emma sat back, weighing her options. She didn't want to relive the past, but another part of her wanted to prove that she wasn't the same timid girl they all remembered. She began typing her response. "Hi, Alex. Thank you for reaching out. While I've avoided reunions in the past for personal reasons, I'm willing to attend this one. But on one condition. I'll be wearing a masquerade mask the entire evening. If that's too strange for you, I understand. Best regards, Emma. Her finger hovered over the send button for a moment before she pressed it. The mask she mentioned wasn't just about hiding her identity, it was a shield, a way to take control of the situation. As message sent flashed on her screen, Emma leaned back in her chair. Part of her wished she'd declined outright, but another part was curious to see how much Alex Thompson had really changed. On the other end, Alex received the email and stared at the condition Emma had set. A mask? The idea was unusual, but he didn't hesitate to accept. Deal, he replied simply. Laughter and conversation echoed through the grand ballroom of the hotel hosting the 10-year reunion. Crystal chandeliers cast shimmering lights over elegantly dressed guests, creating an atmosphere of sophistication. Alex Thompson stood near the bar, trying to mask his nerves as he glanced at his watch. Emily wasn't there yet. He'd prepared for this evening meticulously, from the tailored gray suit that struck the perfect balance between formal and approachable to rehearsing how he would greet her. But even so, his anticipation was hard to ignore. Suddenly, the grand doors swung open, and all eyes turned toward the woman entering the room. Emma Lee, in a sleek black gown and an intricate metallic masquerade mask, was a vision unlike anything Alex had imagined. She walked with confidence, her masked gaze sweeping the room. The chandelier's light caught the delicate filigree of her mask, making her seem like she'd stepped out of a royal ball. Alex approached her with a warm smile. "Emma," he said, his voice steady but tinged with hesitation. Emma turned to him, offering a slight nod. "Alex." "Thank you for coming," Alex said, his eyes lingering on the mask. "The mask, it's beautiful. It suits you." Emma smiled faintly. "Thank you. But I didn't come here for compliments, Alex. I came to see if these people still scare me." Alex paused, struck by the quiet strength in her words. "If you need me, I'll be by your side all night." Emma tilted her head slightly, her eyes gleaming behind the mask. "I'll keep that in mind." As the night unfolded, Emma began to realize that the people who once tormented her seemed so ordinary now, even forgettable. Chris Evans, his hair now streaked with gray, was the first to approach her. "Emma," Chris began, his voice uncertain, I want to say I'm sorry for everything I did." Emma looked at him, her masked eyes steady and unflinching. "I don't need your apology, Chris. I've already moved on." Chris lowered his head, guilt etched into his features. Alex, standing nearby, observed the interaction with quiet admiration for Emma's strength. As the evening drew to a close, Emma turned to Alex unexpectedly. "I think it's time," she said. "Are you sure?" Alex asked, his voice gentle but concerned. Emma nodded. Under the curious gaze of the crowd, she slowly raised her hands and removed the mask. For a moment, the room fell silent. No longer the shy, ridiculed girl from high school, Emily stood tall and confident. Murmurs began to ripple through the room, but she didn't care. Alex looked at her, momentarily speechless. Her face, no longer hidden, carried a quiet strength that took his breath away. "Emma," he finally said, his voice soft with admiration. "You're not just stunning, you're extraordinary." Emma smiled, feeling lighter than ever before. "Thank you, Alex, for being here." After the reunion, Alex Thompson couldn't stop thinking about Emma Lee. The image of her removing her mask and standing tall, confident, and radiant was etched into his mind. It wasn't just her outer beauty, but the strength and resilience she exuded. Alex realized that, from that moment, he wanted to know more about the real Emma. 3 days after the reunion, Alex mustered the courage to text her. "Hi, Emma. The other night was incredible. I've been thinking about what you said, about moving past the past. Would you have time to grab coffee and talk more about it?" Emma glanced at the message on her phone, hesitating for a moment. The invitation was unexpected but not unwelcome. After some thought, she replied, "Sure, Blue Bottle Coffee, Friday, 7 a.m. before my shift." That morning, Alex arrived early carrying a tray of pastries. When Emma walked in, dressed in scrubs with her hair tied back and her face free of makeup, Alex greeted her with a warm smile. You like croissants, right? I remember back in high school, you used to bring your own food because you couldn't eat the cafeteria's stuff." Emma raised an eyebrow, slightly surprised. "You remember that?" "I do," Alex admitted earnestly. "I think I remember more than I thought I did." They talked for an hour, not just about the past, but about their lives now. Alex learned more about Emma's work, how she helped children through complex surgeries, and the challenges she'd faced to achieve her success. Emma, in turn, found Alex to be far different from the silent bystander she remembered. He listened intently, his eyes holding hers as if he truly wanted to understand her. For the first time in years, she felt a sense of safety she hadn't realized she craved, a feeling that slowly began to chip away at her walls. After that coffee meeting, Alex found ways to see Emma more often. Once, he used the excuse of a charity project related to medical technology to invite her to dinner. Another time, he offered to help raise funds for her surgical center. At first, Emma maintained her distance, hesitant to let her guard down. Years of protecting herself from past hurts had made her cautious. But gradually, Alex's patience and genuine interest began to chip away at her walls. One evening, as they dined at a cozy Boston restaurant, Alex looked straight into Emma's eyes and said, "Emma, I don't just want to make amends. I want a chance to be with you, not because of the past, but because of who you are now." Emma was silent, feeling the sincerity in his words. Instead of replying directly, she smiled softly. "Let's see how patient you really are, Alex." Emily never expected that slowly opening up to Alex Thompson would stir so many emotions. The morning coffees, simple dinners, and deep conversations brought her a sense of peace, a feeling she hadn't believed she deserved for a long time. But with every step forward, part of her old fears crept back. One day, while reviewing patient files, Emma stumbled upon an old online article about Alex during his high school years. The article featured photos of students at Westbridge High, some of which captured the cruel moments of her being bullied. In one photo, Alex stood in the background. He wasn't laughing like the others, but he wasn't stopping them either. The memories rushed back like a freezing wave. She placed her hand on the laptop screen, her chest tightening as if she'd been pulled back in time. When Alex texted her that evening inviting her to dinner, Emma didn't reply. 3 days later, Alex showed up at the hospital, waiting for Emma after her shift. Standing in the hallway, he called out, "Emma, wait." Emma turned around, her face cold and distant. "What are you doing here?" "You didn't reply to my texts," Alex said, his voice tinged with confusion but steady. "I just wanted to make sure everything's okay." Emma crossed her arms, trying to mask the storm of emotions inside her. "Do you remember what you did or didn't do in high school?" Alex took a deep breath. I remember. I remember standing by and doing nothing. I didn't stop those awful things from happening to you." "Then why do you care now?" Emma asked, her voice trembling. "You stood there back then doing nothing, so what makes now any different? What makes me any different to you?" "Because I don't want to stand by anymore," Alex said firmly, his eyes unwavering. "Because I admire who you've become, and because I think I've genuinely started to care for you." Emma stood still, stunned by his honesty. Instead of responding, she turned away. "I need time to think." Over the next few days, Emma thought deeply about everything. She replayed the painful memories, but she couldn't deny the sense of safety Alex had brought into her life. One evening, Alex received a text from Emma. "Are you free? Meet me at our usual coffee shop." At the cafe, Emma sat waiting with a steaming cup of tea in front of her. When Alex arrived, she looked up at him, her voice calm but serious. "You said you like me, but do you really understand me?" Alex sat across from her, his eyes earnest. "Maybe I don't understand everything yet, but I want the chance to try." Emma exhaled, a small smile breaking through. "Then you have to accept that I'm not perfect, and I'll never completely forget what happened. But if you're patient, maybe I'd like to try too." Alex nodded, his heart swelling with relief. "Emma, I'll be as patient as you need me to be." Emma and Alex's relationship grew deeper, yet steady and patient. Their time together became more meaningful, filled with laughter and quiet moments of connection. However, despite their growing closeness, Emma still kept a part of herself guarded. One weekend, Alex sent Emma a message. "Are you free this weekend? I know the perfect spot to relax. A camping trip, just the two of us. No work, no hospital, just us." Emma hesitated for a moment before replying, "All right, but you better bring coffee and croissants." On Saturday afternoon, they drove to a lakeside campsite, surrounded by an open sky that promised a blanket of stars at night. Alex had prepared everything: a spacious tent, cozy blankets, and a small dinner by the campfire. After dinner, they sat side by side, the warm glow of the fire reflecting in Emma's eyes. "Emma," Alex began, his voice steady but filled with emotion. "You know, ever since I saw you at the reunion, I've been drawn to you. Not just because you're beautiful or successful, but because of the strength you carry. I want us to be more than just two people who meet for dinners and coffee. I want us to truly be together." Emma didn't respond immediately, her eyes searching his. In the quiet of the night, she felt the weight of his words and the sincerity behind them. She smiled softly, placing her hand over his. "Alex, I've been afraid of so many things, but I think I don't have to be afraid of you. Let's try." That night, under the starlit sky, Emma and Alex took their relationship to the next level. They shared an intimate moment in the cozy warmth of their tent, marking a new chapter in their journey together. 3 months after their fateful camping trip, Emma and Alex's relationship had deepened. They had become accustomed to each other's presence in their lives, taking things slow but steady. One evening, Emma invited Alex to her apartment. When he arrived, she smiled and placed a small envelope on the table in front of him. "What's this?" Alex asked, both curious and slightly nervous. Emma simply smiled. "Open it." Alex picked up the envelope, carefully opened it, and pulled out a black and white ultrasound photo. His eyes widened, staring at the image before turning to Emma. Are you saying?" His voice cracked, unable to finish the sentence. Emma nodded, her eyes sparkling with joy. "Yes, Alex, I'm pregnant." Alex froze for a moment as though he needed time to process the news. But then a wide grin broke across his face. He pulled Emma into his arms, holding her tightly as if he never wanted to let go. "Emma, this is the best news I've ever heard," he said, his voice shaking with emotion. "I don't even know what to say, but I do know one thing. I want to be with you and our baby forever." Alex didn't propose right away, but he quietly began planning how to do it in the most meaningful way possible. A few weeks later, on a peaceful evening, Alex invited Emma for a walk through the park near her home. As they strolled along a leaf-strewn path, the golden glow of streetlights casting shadows around them, Alex held her hand tightly in his. "Emma," he began, his voice soft but steady, "ever since you told me the news, I've been thinking a lot about the future. I don't just want to be the father of your child. I want to be your partner through every moment, good or bad." Emma stopped walking, turning to face him, her eyes shimmering in the warm light. Alex took a deep breath, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. He opened it to reveal a simple yet elegant ring, chosen with great care. "I've thought about this a lot. Emily, you are the most incredible woman I've ever met. You've changed my life in ways I never imagined. Will you marry me?" Emma raised a hand to her mouth, tears spilling from her eyes. Her heart felt full to bursting, but she managed to smile through her overwhelming emotions. "Yes, Alex," she said, her voice trembling with joy. "Of course, yes." Alex beamed as he slipped the ring onto her finger. He pulled her into a tight embrace, both of them savoring the moment that marked the start of their journey as a family.